some more than others, some less than others. It brings us comfort, joy, and we center most of the main events in our lives around it. We love to eat. Now let's look at some of the science and underlying components of this habitual action. The primary concern and element I have found in foods are the harmful effects of genetically modified organisms. A genetically modified organism is a plant, animal, or microorganism that has been produced to overcome any natural restrictions. It encompasses eradicating the DNA, manipulating it, and then reinserting it back into the original or alternative organism. Although there are some benefits, the harmful effects are far more extensive. We trust supermarkets, restaurants, and companies to ensure the safety of our food. We think that the healthy food will be healthy and the junk food will be safe but still bad for us. So when the question, is it truth, is asked, I would say not. There's no truth in this food epidemic that has been sweeping our nation since the 1970s. Ever since they were introduced, chronic health issues such as allergies, autism, and reproductive disorders have increased by 13%. Scientists do all kinds of crossbreeding such as trout genes in tomatoes, protein genes from flounder and catfish, tobacco genes from mouse in them, and many other combinations. The FDA requires no labeling of this, so this could pose a threat to people with allergies because they could digest something they are allergic to without even knowing. Over 60% of prepackaged foods and over 36 fruits and vegetables actually contain GMOs. If you walk into a grocery store, you'll notice that the regular produce comes in a variety of shapes and sizes, and the organic produce is roughly around the same. This is because these scientists engineer these foods to create a standard size. According to the Union of Concerned Scientists, 93% of these changes were to make food production and packaging easier, and only 7% were to improve nutrition and taste. Is it fair? It's not fair that the FDA uses its consumers as guinea pigs. They require no testing, and they solely rely on the data that companies present to them. A recent report done by Pulitzer Prize winner Michael Moss investigates big companies like Frito-Lay's and Oscar Mayer. After investigating Frito-Lay's, they discovered that they spend over $30 million a year and hire over 500 chemists, technicians, and psychologists to see what consumers will eat more of and eventually buy more of. They investigated things like the perfect breaking point in the chip. It's roughly around 4 pounds of pressure per square inch. They also investigated why Cheetos Puffs are so addictive. It's because they have this melt-in-your-mouth quality that makes you feel like you're eating empty calories and you mindlessly eat more. These companies are only interested in profit, and they don't care about the consumer's well-being. Does it build goodwill and friendships? Genetically modified organisms do not build goodwill and friendships, but by buying all natural, organic, and hormone-free foods, you can. I recently seen my parents do this. They actually get excited about eating and cooking a meal together that they can feel good about. They've noticed that they've lost weight, they've had more energy, and they've had a more positive outlook on life. Although their groceries are a bit more expensive, you cannot put a price on self-confidence. As Henry David Thoreau once said, the price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it. Genetically modified organisms are actually the opposite of beneficial. A comparison of the effects of 3 GM corn varieties on mammalian health showed that rats who ate genetically engineered corn and drank water with traces of the pesticide Roundup for their whole lives experienced organ damages, immense tumors, and premature deaths. Some of these tumors were so massive that the mice had issues breathing. Genetically modified organisms are uncontrollable. They get into every layer of the food chain. If an organism eats another organism that has a genetically modified substance in them, then that organism has that very genetically modified DNA in them. By eating healthy, this becomes a more ambiguous process because you don't know what's actually in your food.
Come to the office.
We need to stop commercializing and industrializing foods, and we should require labeling too. With the right power and knowledge, we have the power to fix what others might consider unfixable.